Welcome back, Red Talks. You already know what it is. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, please go over to the Spotify and check us out. Check out the new episodes. We just had a new episode yesterday. So every Wednesday, Tuesday, I don't even remember, but yeah, we got a new episode out yesterday on the Spotify. So go and check out the Spotify because we got exclusive content on there. And today, I'm joined by a special guest. Very, very special. I'm actually honored to be in front of this guest. Yeah. She does amazing work, and I'll let it speak for itself. So introduce yourself.
So yeah, I'm your coach, Corina, and I am a transformational coach for women. I basically help women who have the tendency to self-sabotage their lives and their relationships, starting with their self, and I just help them, get better relationships with self and others, and help them with self-love, really.
Amazing. Incredible. So you see, let's start from the beginning. Okay. What got you into life coaching women?
So I basically decided to become a life coach because I realized that I needed coaching myself. Went through some different avenues to help me overcome some of my things that were holding me back, past relationships, childhood traumas. And I realized that it was a really helpful way of overcoming these things because we don't go back to stay in the past. We take what we need from the past and we work towards the future. And I realized that a lot of women kind of needed that guidance, and I just wanted to be of help. And I haven't seen many coaches who look like me, and I wanted to help a community of women who look and are like me, basically.
That's incredible. And what's your main drive for it? Besides that, what drives you to keep doing it? Because it must be a stressful thing to be life coaching people, because obviously you're taking on a lot of other people's stresses. So how do you maintain the drive to keep going?
Just seeing the transformations, seeing my clients come to me maybe with heartbreak, not feeling good about themselves, low self-esteem, and then seeing them maybe 2 to 3 months down the line in new relationships or on the dating scene again, confident in themselves, with self-esteem, knowing where they're going. For me, that's what drives me, seeing that transformation.
And would you think, do you think that a relationship should be equal?
Do I think a relationship should be equal? In what way?
So there's a conversation that's arised with many people, and people say that a relationship should be 50-50. Dynamically, that's impossible because there's different roles that we've been given.
Of course.
But there is this conversation that has arisen that a relationship should be 50-50, and I'll give half, he gives half, and that's how the relationship should be. Do you think a relationship would work if it was totally 50-50?
No. I mean, it's hard. I think people should be treated the same. I think, we should be seen as equals, yes. But we do, like you said, we have different things that we bring to the table. I'm a woman. I help women who mostly want to be in relationships with men. And so, we have to understand that we have different roles. We are born different and we provide different things to the table. So in certain areas, it may seem that you're doing more, but in another area that person's maybe taken on more of the responsibility. So I think it's equal in a way that, yes, maybe we don't put I don't know, people always go with the money thing, we don't put 50-50 into the money pot, but one may put I don't know, maybe even 70-30, but in other areas in the household that person's carrying the other 70%, while they're only maybe putting 30. And so that's sort of my views on modern relationships today.
Do you look down on men who have children?
Why would I look down on men who have children?
This is a very good question. You might think this is a random question I'm asking you, but there's a lot of women, they look down on men that actually have children. They think that they're less of men because they have children.
I wouldn't look down on a man for having children. I don't look down on anybody for anything, really. People are who they are if they've chosen to have children. All I can hope is that they're good parents and they choose to be in their children's lives. I have no opinion about.
You see, growing up in Bournemouth, yeah, did you grow up in Bournemouth or was it Luton? I've read your story. I'm very inquisitive. I'll be honest with you. I'm on people's pages. If you're coming on my podcast, I've already scoped everything. So you did say that you was raised in Luton. From what there's Luton has two sides to it. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Luton has like a kind of EDL, very white posh side, and then it has a very Asian side. Am I correct for saying that? Or am I wrong for saying that?
I mean, again, I suppose that's where the focus may be on. I don't pay that much attention to what Luton's like at the moment. I haven't lived personally in Luton since I was 13. When I've ever been back there, it's only been for like family basis, so I couldn't really comment too much on that.
So in Bournemouth, growing up in Bournemouth, would you say that it's very multicultural down there, or it's not?
When I first moved down there, it was like, no, like I was like one of like a few people who were my colour or more. So obviously I'm mixed race, half Jamaican. So I think in my school there was probably about 5 or 6 people in total that were of my complexion or darker. I think it's definitely got a lot better now. You do see a lot more, sort of Black, Asian people in that area, but I'd still say it's quite white dominated. You know, you can't.
How did that affect your self-esteem growing up? Seeing that you're only, because you must have tried to fit in with other people, because obviously when you're in an area where you're one minority, you want to feel accepted. So did you? What did you do to like fit in with people? Did you have to change yourself? What happened?
I think like my self-esteem, it probably did take a little bit of a hit being around different people. I was very much still who I was in sense of like I like the type of music, my culture a lot, and I kind of just stuck to the people that were similar to me down there anyway. I did have a few friends who were of different nationalities, and I think for me it was just more so finding people who were similar to me, who came from similar backgrounds to me, and just sticking with them. And I mean, it was a bit difficult not seeing as many people looking like me. I know from when I was younger, I did struggle with like my hair. That was just a thing I've always struggled with.
What's wrong with your hair? What's wrong with your hair?
Oh, nothing now. But when I was younger, growing up, my mum didn't really know how to do my hair. So my mum's white, and she didn't really know how to do my hair. So she didn't know have the products for it, so it just looked a hot mess, like 24/7. Like, so every time I saw like images on the TV, I'd see like, you know, the Aaliyahs, the Mayas and all that, their hair would be like really long, like curly, maybe wearing like wigs or extensions, but not realizing that I was like, that's what I want my hair to be like. So I kind of went through a long phase from like 12 till probably about 25, just really like having straight hair. I stopped wearing extensions when I was about 22, 23. Started to like just use my own natural hair. But then, I went on a journey, nearly 2 years ago now, and started to appreciate and love my curly hair for what it is. You know, I'm going to probably go on to have children who look like me, and I want them to like be able to love their hair. And if their mother doesn't love their hair, then I don't know what sort of example I would be to them.
Yeah. So growing up in Bournemouth, what would you say is like a crazy experience that you experienced down there in Bournemouth?
I mean, I did experience my first bit of racism in Bournemouth. Like, so I'd never had any like racist remarks to me when I was growing up in Luton at all. And that was like, I think like the first time I ever went down there, I was like 10 years old. I just remember like old white women would like walk past you and like grab their handbags as if you was gonna maybe grab them. You
as a younger lady,
like little kids running around in hotels and that, they literally would like grip their handbags. Like my mum noticed it, and my mum was more on like having a go at people than we were, and she was a white woman herself. And I think like when I was maybe about 14, I literally then started to have people shout out to me, go back to your own country and things like that, and I was like, whoa, like I'd never experienced anything like that in my life. And obviously I'd be quite angry at it. You sort of like shout things back, but now it's just like, I kind of want to know when people are racist. I don't know about you, but I'd rather like know when people are racist to know like not to like deal with them. Like people like trying to like tell people not to like be who they are. It's just like, nah, I kind of need to know who are my people. I hate being around the covert ones when they've got like those subtle things and you're a bit like, is this person being racist? But you can't really say anything because they're not being like overtly racist to you.
It's funny you say that, because most people that grow up in areas that are majority white and they're mixed race, you have two sides of the coin for them, because they have a white side, so they appreciate and they don't look at white people as funny. But then they also have the black side to them. So it's like most of my friends that are mixed race, they identify themselves as black because everyone else identifies them as black. They couldn't identify as mixed race because people wouldn't even identify them as that. Everyone would identify them as black. Okay. They would say you're an IC3 male or IC3 female. That's what they would say in general. So growing up, did that make you want to study about black history more because of everything that you was going through?
I mean, I was always more in touch with my black side and with just like family wise anyway. Like I only knew my white mother growing up. Like the only family I knew were my black and mixed race side of my family. So I feel like I was a bit in touch with that anyway. But I definitely feel like I would like to do more. I've never been to like Jamaica. I haven't really been to many places outside of Europe. So that's kind of like on my bucket list to do in the next couple of years, is definitely, you know, go to Jamaica. Like I like cooking like Jamaican food. That's probably like the best like sort of food that I know how to cook. But I'd love to go out there and actually like see it being made like out there, and like the fresh foods, like actual ackee rather than getting it from a tin here and things like that. Like that's something that I would like to do in the next couple of years.
So you want to go to Jamaica?
100%.
So you want to go Jamaican parties as well?
I mean, I'm not saying like that's like on top of my list, but I'd like to experience one, definitely.
Yeah, Jamaican parties are crazy.
Have you been?
I'm from Jamaica, and I went to Jamaica when I was like 16.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was, it's a different experience. It's a different experience. You go Jamaica, a different experience. And it's just like when I went Africa. Africa was a different experience for me as well. Africa was, I think for me, the most amazing experience I've ever been. I went to Kenya and in Zanzibar, and yeah, man, I've never seen, you know, Africa, they lie to us, you know, all these pictures of these flies flying around kids' head and kid with big belly. I never actually saw that. I saw poverty, yeah, no doubt, but I never saw what they show us
on the TV.
Yeah, I never saw that, and it made me happy to see just incredible people, man. Like you go there, you just meet the nicest and friendliest people ever, and very hospitable. That's one thing I say about the people that I met. They was all hospitable people, and they were very lovely, man. They were lovely people. Nice. You know, whatever people told you about get killed and all this robbed, and I never experienced none. I didn't feel no fear. I felt actually more safe out there than I do in the UK, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, UK is actually dangerous.
I mean, I think everywhere's got like a place that is quite dangerous, you know.
Not in Africa. They was like, oh, around here is bad. I was like, oh yeah, cool. But you see in places of poverty, it's only bad because the people are poor. They're not, the people generally are not bad people. Does that make sense? It's like a man would kill you over food, but he needs food to feed his family. Does that make sense? He's not doing it for a name or to put it on social media or greed. Yeah, or I'm trying to get points. I'm trying to score points. It's not for that reason. So it's like, yeah, man, I loved it out there personally. What is the meaning to friendship to you? What is the meaning of friendship to you?
So friendship is just having people's backs, being there for each other, caring for that other person, and yeah, being there when you need them, being there not just in the low times. I was having a conversation with one of my friends about this the other day. It's actually being through the good as well. Like, I don't want you to just call me when things are going wrong. Like, yes, of course, call me when things are going wrong, but I love it when you call me when you say you've just bought a new car, or you've just got a new house, or you're getting engaged. Like, friendship's about experiencing life together, creating good memories, and like I said, just having each other's backs when you need it. I
feel like friendship is something that no one even speaks about. Like, what are you as a friend to me? Like, do friends actually say to friends, are you a real friend? Because people find it hard to have actually a conversation communicating with people in the sense of, you know, how are you today? How's your life been? How's everything with you? A lot of people don't know how to actually have friendships. They know how to have relationships, but they don't know how to have friendships. To actually be there for someone as a friend. And remember, a friend sometimes is a person that tells you about yourself.
100%.
Yeah, so if you have people that you think are your friends, but they always say yes to you and agree with everything that you do, and even when you think, did I do wrong? And you phone someone and they always say to you, you've done right. And in the back of your heart, you know you've done wrong. They're not really your friends.
Oh, 100.
But even if you think they're your friends, generally they're not your friends.
But you can tell. I think when I was younger, I definitely had a lot of people who were maybe, were fake friends. And it's not even about, you know, saying they were bad people, that they were going through what they were going through. And obviously I wasn't a priority on their minds. I wasn't a priority on their list, sort of thing. So I've learned to identify people who are my friends. And it's not so much as like, you know, having to say things to people or ask for things. It's just, like I said, it's just them being there. Like, they've been there through your worst moments, your best moments. They've told you, like you said, they've told you about yourself. Like I had to have a really difficult conversation with one of my really close friends the other day. Something quite crazy was going on in their life, and I could have like sat that back and sort of, you know, not been honest and truthful about my opinion. But as a friend, I had to sort of look at it from holistically and be like, I hear that side of it, but you know, maybe how maybe how you're moving, how you're feeling about certain things isn't right as well. And you know, she was like, I kind of feel like you're telling me off. And it's like, I'm not telling you off, you know I'm not, but I'm just being honest. Like, I can't see, you know, you've asked for my opinion. It's another thing. I don't just give it unless people ask for it.
Yeah.
You asked for my opinion, and I just said, look, I can only go off the information you've given me, but from what you've given me, kind of feeling like for the other person as well here. And you know, we have to maybe put ourselves in that person's shoes. And I think in life, if we can learn to maybe put ourselves in other people's shoes, but not only their shoes, but also put yourself in the outsider point of view as well. So you've got your perspective, the other person's perspective, and then like an outsider perspective. You can maybe get to like a better conclusion of how you should move accordingly.
Do you know, that's very, very, very good what you just said, because sometimes you get one perspective, which is good, but then you get another perspective that could potentially not be better, but could open your eyes to something different. 100%. And that could make you make a better decision on how you deal with that situation. If we had honest friends around us, majority of us wouldn't have childhood tendencies. Because if I've known someone from a child and I've seen that you still have childhood tendencies, and the way you behave and you act with people is still the same way you was acting when you was 14, I should be able to tell you that we're not 14 anymore. You know, we're grown men. And you can't justify bad behavior with old ways. Does that make sense? That's a very narcissistic way. A narcissist, he'll beat a woman and say, well, I got beaten when I was younger, and you know, I've always fighted for everything I wanted in my life. And you're like, what's that got to do with right now? Like, you shouldn't have done what you done. Does it make sense? What you done was incorrect. Apologize, fix your actions, and move forward. You know, whether that's leaving the person or leaving that friendship. As I've got older, I've found it easier to just let go of friendships. As I've got older, I used to be this person that used to say, you know, that's my day one, all this. I don't say that stuff anymore. I'm at the point in my life where it's not about if you're my day one. It's about how are you today with me? Because we can grow and we can change. And there's nothing wrong with me. And it's no malice, there's no pain, there's no hurt. It's just me evolving as a person. If I don't see that same growth from you, I don't really want to put you in my close circle, because you're going to have an effect on me, because I take friendships real deep. Now, I'm one of them person, I feel a lot. I feel a lot of emotion. I don't say it and I don't show it. That's why it seems as if I don't. But I feel a lot for my people that I actually call a friend. I actually feel a lot of emotions. Like, if me and you having a fallout, I'm actually proper thinking about it for like a day or two. It's in my head for the next week. Like, for one day, I'm just like, in my head, everything is based on that fallout, because I'm so close with people. Does it make sense? I put my all into things, which is not even healthy. I think personally, it's not healthy. You shouldn't be like that. Don't be like that.
80, 100.
Yeah. You shouldn't be like that. Don't give everything to the point where it starts to burden your brain. But so I found it easy as I grew older to cut off friendships and not always put my all into things that I know that generally is not going to come with a good outcome for me personally.
It's true. I think what helps as well is not having such high expectations of people. I think that's definitely helped me out. Having your own life helps you with things as well. Like, I used to be somebody who'd be like, oh, like, I want to go and do this thing and I want people to come and do it with me. And then like my friends would say they would or they wouldn't do it. And then I'd get annoyed and not do it. And I've learned to be like, I'm going to do what I need to do anyway. And if you want to come with me, it's a bonus. And if you don't, then, you know, it is what it is. There's no ill feeling. There's no like, hurtness to it because I haven't put an expectation on that. I've just let people be who they want to be. And I think definitely keeping your circle small. Like, I don't call a lot of people my friend. I've got like a handful of people, a handful of people that are my close people, that are my friends.
I don't even have a handful anymore. It's got less than it.
I take my hat off to people who can have like groups of people that they maintain on a daily basis. But, you know, like I said, with my handful of people, they may not hear from me for maybe a week to 2 weeks. And that's not because I don't want to like communicate with them. It's just that I've got that much going on. Like, again, having a conversation with another friend the other day, it was like when we were 16, 17, we'd be on the phone to each other like, yo, what we doing today? Like, yeah, go meet at the same place. Like every single day, like from the age of 16 to like 19 continuously. You don't do that no more. We ain't got the time. Like life has happened, your work's happened, trying to get your businesses, trying to get your relationships done. Like, you just don't have the time. But
that's it.
That's what also shows what's a real friendship, is that, yeah, we may have not spoken to each other in a week to 2 weeks. Some people, unfortunately, maybe a month, depending on how busy your roster's been.
Maybe a year.
Things have happened. But you can pick up that phone to that person, and it's like you never, like, that time hasn't been gone. It's like you've spoken to them like it was the last time you spoke to them. Like, that to me is like another symbol of like, wow, this is actually my person. Like,
this is my guy. Yeah. And you got lots of memories that you lot can reminisce on as well. Good memories.
All the time. Yeah, we've got loads.
Do you remember that time when we was in France? Brother, you was getting crazy. Remember what that man said? No, that was mad. Do you remember the shot? But yeah, that was great. Like, I love friendships like that. You don't have it. I have a friend like that right now. He's in Gambia. Shout out to my brother Rashid. You know what you're doing. He's in Gambia right now, and I ain't spoke to him for like 2 months, 3 months. Yeah, I've seen him with little texts here and there, but I haven't spoken to him. Other than me and spoke, an hour or 2 hours on the phone. And it was just a genuine flowing conversation. It wasn't forced. It wasn't no silences. It was just a great conversation about just us two. You know what I'm saying? As people, and what we're doing and what he's on, what I'm on. He's telling me, come out here. You know, guy, England, it's not good for you. Come to Gambia, it's better. So we had a good conversation, and
Nice.
I feel like people like that, I hold dear to my heart. You know, someone that you can just not speak to for 4 or 5 months. As soon as you speak to him, it's just like you lot can't leave each other. It's like that conversation. You don't want it to end. He don't want it to end. But you keep going until eventually you're saying, "Right, I got to go.
It's bedtime, or like I got to get the dinner on.
I got to go work, or bro, I got to go sleep, or you know what I'm saying." So it's good for them friendships, and you know, I think people need to work on maintaining long-term friendships.
Definitely.
That's very good, man. Do you think many people suffer from childhood trauma?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think most people probably do and don't even realize it. They're so used to survival mode. I learned the difference between like survival mode and like growing, basically. And I think when you're in survival mode, your body's in a permanent state of tension. You're not able to really take in like new surroundings or just new things because you're so busy on just trying to survive everything. And like you said, we sort of rebound to coping mechanisms that maybe we went to when we were like younger to help us deal with situations that were probably really stressful. And we may be in situations that aren't even that level of stress, but because we're so used to reacting to things how we did when we was children, unfortunately we take that with us when we're older, when we're in places where we're not that self-aware.
How do you think someone can deal with childhood trauma? How do you think someone can deal with it?
I think you need to go to therapy. I think therapy is something that gets stigmatized a lot in the UK. I know in America,
especially in the black community, because people don't even think that. They think that you've got mental health if you're seeking therapy.
100%. I mean, mental health. It's how kind we are with each other when we talk about mental health. It's actually having a better understanding and education on what mental health really is. I had the best thing a few years ago that really helped me understand that I may have needed like, you know, some therapy and help. And, you know, I went to counselling first and realised it wasn't really helping me because it was just bringing up a lot of stuff and not dealing with it. And I realised coaching, we kind of like look to how we can deal with things better and, you know, looking at the future rather than focusing on the past. But yeah, when I came across this thing where it said, you know, if you was to like be in a road traffic accident or something like that, or someone was to hurt you, you had like a really bad leg, you'd have no issue going to the hospital to get that fixed. So how come when you have a mental injury, we don't seem to go and get help for that? And when I had it phrase that way, it was just like
powerful. That one there was a powerful one. I'm not gonna lie. That one, powerful. Say that again for the people, please.
Say if you was to like be in a road traffic accident, or you got run over, something happened to you, you have no problem going to the hospital to go and get that dealt with. But how come when you have a mental injury, you don't go and see someone to get that dealt with as well?
It's
and
true.
People don't mean to cause injury to lots of people. I know it seems like we live in a very selfish and greedy world. I try not to judge people as much. I understand everyone comes from trauma, everyone comes from certain things, but I feel like unfortunately a lot of us are just people walking around with these wounds that no one's been able to deal with, and it's just really learning to like destigmatize the thought of actually going to speak to someone about it. Yes, it's nice to talk to our friends and family members about things, but they are going through their own things as well. Like everyone has their own issues that they're dealing with, and they maybe can't be that source of helping you the way that you need. So sometimes we need to go to that professional who doesn't know us, who's that, like I said, that outside perspective, who can maybe see things a little bit more holistically than we can maybe shine light on areas that we're not used to having it been shone on, and it helps us overcome and deal with things a lot more. And that, like I said, that's why I wanted to become a coach. I just wanted to be able to just put the spotlight on certain areas. Like, I don't give my clients advice. I always ask them what would they do, or how about if somebody was coming to you with this same situation, like one of your close friends, what would you tell them to do in the situation? I'm like, so why don't you do that then? But you've just found the solution. Like, what the solution is. You don't need me to tell you. You know the solution. But of course, you've got emotions, other things clouding you from making those actual decisions. So,
do you know what was powerful? What you just said. Yeah, you just said something that was incredible. And it really made me think. You said that sometimes we already know the answer to some things, but it's like we're not. That's why it's good to have someone around you that kind of pushes you towards it. Does that make sense? It's not, because sometimes you don't see that you know the answer already, because you're so much in your feelings, and you're over emotional, you're over angry, whatever that emotion that is blocking your judgment.
100.
And that's why it's really good for people to actually go and seek therapy. And I done counselling when I was like in year 11.
Okay.
I done counselling when I was in year 11. I speak about it open. I don't care anyone thinks. I done counselling when I was in year 11 because they said I was too violent.
Right, okay.
In secondary school, they said I was too violent. Anyone who knows my past knows that could have been true. Well, it was true. But then what I realised from that, you said that it's not about going back in the past, but for me, going back in the past made me identify where the problem started. So I confronted the problem, where it came from, who was the culprit of making me the way I was. And that made me break the cycle now to say, I'm never going to be like this with my children, ever. I'm going to always be, because you don't realize that you inherit a lot of your parents' trauma. A child inherits a lot of the parents' trauma
if they haven't dealt with their own.
If they haven't dealt with it, because parents are passing on trauma to kids. I'll give you an example. If a parent beats a child, and he's always beating the child, but that's because he was beaten, so he's passing on that same beating with the whip, beating you with the whip now. It's a thing that beating with the whip came from all slavery times, beating with the whip. So it was like a passed down trauma that was given. Now, me in this day and age, in 2000 or 1999, I'm getting beaten now because of what he went through and what his father put him through. So we have to start breaking generational curses.
Of course.
And the first one I say is with the money. People being financially stable and knowing where their money is and how they're making money. You know what I'm saying? Not relying on just one income. I believe that not everybody can be an entrepreneur. That's my honest belief. Not everybody is going to make it. That's the truth. But you can work with somebody to become something great. You see, I think a lot of people don't see this. You see, we see the Jeff Bezos, we see the whatever that Tesla guy is name. What's his name? I can't remember. Elon Musk, whatever his name is. We see them guys and we think those guys are big. What about the people that helped him to get to that position? They're just as important as he is. He wouldn't be able to operate if it wasn't for the person in the shadows that you don't know about. But that person, if he's a billionaire, how much money do you think that other person is? This is what I'm saying. But his only job is to stay in the dark and do his job. So this is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes what I've seen with a lot of people is that they don't want to play their role. They want everything to be like 50-50 when the world that we're living in is the entrepreneur might run the whole business. You might be playing some low position now, but eventually when he blows, you're going to blow as well.
It's true.
And I think a lot of people don't see that. They just see everything from a selfish perspective. Does that make sense?
What in the spotlight, maybe the credit, the open credit. Like, I mean, I was having a conversation with one of the sort of mentors, coaches that I looked up to, and he's explaining, you know, some of us are visionaries and others of us are the people that help the visions. Like I would say I'm definitely more of I have the ideas, I speak, you know, I'm the sort of person who will speak an idea into existence, and I need people who are more planners and who are able to like take what I've said and be like, right, this is what needs to happen. Whereas, because I'm just so almost up in the air sort of thing, like I have these things that need to have, I need people to help me come down to actually execute it. So you know, it's about finding what your strengths are and play into that, you know. And
do you know what? Do you know what's crazy about what you just said? My friend, the same guy I was talking about, he had a book full of ideas, and he said he showed these ideas to everybody. Nobody ever thought nothing. He gave me the book and turned away, thinking, oh, this guy's gonna do the same thing. I opened the book and said, this is crazy, bruv. How did you think of this? Let's do this tomorrow. He turned around and said, huh? What did you just say? Because he was shocked that I was so invested in what he was trying to do. And it made me realize something. It made me realize that, you see, if you have the right people around you, you're always going to win. If you have the right people around you, you are always going to win. 100%. If you have the wrong people around you, you will never win. I'll just say this again. If you have the right people around you, you will win. Not on the basis of that they're helping you to win. It's just that they're helping you with ideas. They're helping you with just little minor subtle things. Minor subtle things. Like someone might be like, all right, I'm going to be a person that just presses this on the camera. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be the person that comes and deals with your audio. I'm going to be the person. And this is how businesses are formed. You know what I'm saying? There's always someone at the bottom and there's always someone at the top. But not everybody can be at the top.
It depends on how you look at it, though, isn't it? Like you said, it's about getting that job satisfaction or that fulfillment, whatever fulfills you. If you are the sort of person who is fulfilled by, you know, getting things organized and, you know, being the organizer and the planner, then, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you're the sort of person, like, as much as I'm somebody who's now maybe putting their face out a little bit more, I don't want to be this person that's like in front of too many people. Like I don't do well like that. I do better in smaller surroundings and things like that. Like there's so many people I know that flourish in big crowds and things like that, whereas me, I freeze up, get nervous. Like I don't think that's my forte. Like I said, I work bigger and better in smaller circles. So it's like it's just learning what it is that you are good at and what's going to fulfill you. And sometimes it's not always being in the spotlight. It's about being in the back and realizing, like you said, it doesn't matter, you know, if people see you. Just know that you're getting that validation from yourself because you've actually achieved something, rather than needing other people to give you the round of applause. Like, you know, you said it earlier, you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, so you must know that, you know, success doesn't happen overnight. People only see the final product. They only see, you know, once we've hit things. They haven't seen all the obstacles, all the times we got turned down, all the no's, all the years of work, like all the years it's taken you to be able to get to a certain caliber of something. You know, people just see you win one thing and think, wow, look at you. It's not that.
It's not that at all.
It's a lot of stuff behind it, and like it's just understanding that. Yeah, we have to put in a lot of work. We have to go through a lot of things to be able to get to where we're at, and you don't always need to be in the spotlight or need other people's round of applause to be able to be successful, to be a winner, you know.
I think that's the definition of success and winning is to every individual.
Definitely.
My success, what to me right now, being alive at this age, being able to even do this right now with you, I'm successful.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't even need anybody to tell me, because I was in a low state, you know, and maybe some people remember that and maybe some people don't, but I remember it. And that's what's important. It doesn't matter what the people think. It's about, I knew where I was and where I am now. So it's like, when you know what you've been through and your struggles, then everything is success to you. And you know what? I always talk about this, about people being grateful and having gratitude. And I feel like gratitude is the cure to depression, because you see, when you're grateful for the things that you have in your life, whether it's big or small, the world becomes more beautiful because you don't look at what everyone else has, you look at what you have.
Exactly.
And that does something inside of here, something that money cannot buy. No person can give you advice on this. This is from the heart. You have to be a grateful person. I think a lot of people think, why is he always talking about gratitude? Gratitude is the cure to depression. When you're grateful for everything you have, even if you have a little, like if you driving a Ford Escort, 2001, you're driving.
You're not on the pavement.
Someone's on the bus.
On the bus with their bags of shopping.
And they're looking at you thinking, I wish I could get that car. And your car is, you're looking at your car like, this is so old.
Compared to like the brand new BMs that everyone's driving. But like you said, you're still in a better position.
You're still in a better position than someone else. You got a job. Okay, your job's not the best job. But guess what? You're getting money. And you're being able to take care of your loved ones. You have to worry about no one kicking off your door, no one trying to kill you. You got a nice, legit job. There's so many things. When I realised how much I got, I said, wow, you know what, yeah? I'm actually a millionaire without actually being a millionaire.
You are wealthy.
I'm so rich and I didn't even realise how rich I am.
Do you know what? It's not even about the materials. It's like, of course, it's amazing that we can have roofs over our head, the food, but you're like able-bodied. Like, do you know what I mean? Both of your legs are working, both of your arms, do you know what I mean? You can use your eyes, your mouth, your ears. There's not even people that have, unfortunately have been blessed with that, or they have, and somehow, unfortunately, that's been taken away from them. Like, just gratitude for that in itself, because, you know, one day we're going to get older. We may not be able to function as well as we can now. So we need to be able to be grateful for this, like really take care of these things. And I mean, gratitude, like you said, it's the cure for depression. Gratitude saved my life. Like, no other way about it. Like, when I started to just wake up in the morning and be grateful for breath, be grateful that God decided to give me another day today. Do you know what I mean? God is like allowing me to go to work and, like you said, make money, and I'm allowed to, you know, I can have 3 meals on the table. I can water. It's not a stress. Like, I'm a blessed person. You know what I mean? And when you say that, and yeah, it's a different air. I definitely started to move with a different air and energy about me. And of course, we're all human. We are flawed, so we, you know, little things might get to us. But I dedicate my mornings and my evenings. So before I go to bed, and when I first wake up, I go for a gratitude walk. I dedicate that to gratitude. I have to start my day thankful, end my day thankful. And, you know, sometimes in between there'll be certain things that happen, and I just got to look up and say thank you. Sometimes when you're like, you're driving even, and there's a near miss, someone nearly comes into you and you make it out of it. Thank you. Like,
it's true.
Thank you. Like, do you know what I mean? Just little blessings that come through. Just say thank you, because like I said, it just changes the way you look at things. It changes your perspective. It changes you from a lack perspective to an abundance.
I just love being grateful, and I always say this because I think that a lot of people, they suffer with watching what everyone else has.
Comparison.
You see the moment that I stopped looking at what everyone else has, and I started to look at what I have. That's what I said. I started to realize that I have so much, and in material, I'll say that in one thing, because I do. I'm not even going to sit here and lie, but I'm talking about in just me, what I have. Like, I think a lot of people don't put down that you still got your mum, you still got your dad. You still have some people that you can say, yo, I'm calling my mum right now. A lot of people can do that. I'm calling my dad right now. Their parents have passed away. They would wish they could have one more conversation with that person, even just a general conversation, just to see their face. They can't. So I feel like once you start to learn to be grateful, all your friendship, everything is built of gratitude, and that means it's built off longevity, because you don't want to lose people, because you're just grateful for them to just even be there, even as a person, just sitting there, just to be there as a person, so I can walk into the house. Like the other day, I was speaking to someone, and they were like, "Oh, my dad don't really do nothing for me," and I was like, "You're a big man, you don't really need your dad to be doing anything." But I said, you know what? There's not much people that ain't even got their dads. You can come home and see your dad and your mum. Yeah, a lot of people who've come from broken homes, dads all out somewhere, they don't know where their dad is. At least you could say, my dad's at my mum's house. I could walk in there, see him, and say, "Wagwan pups." Even if he ain't nothing, at least you could say, "Wagwan pups." You know what I'm saying? To me, that was a blessing, but you don't even see that, because you're so ungrateful that you're looking at everyone else and thinking, "Oh, my dad's not like this and not like." Bro, at least you have a dad.
It's true.
Be happy for everything that you have, because someone out there wishes what they could have what you have. And that's where I think the cure for depression is not looking at what other people have and looking at what you have, you know?
It's true. It comes with acceptance though, doesn't it? You have to learn to accept. I think I was definitely someone who didn't know how to accept things. Like things are going not how I want it to go, or, you know, like you said, like I didn't come from like the best beginnings or whatever, but it's like, what is the point in trying to change things that you can't change, or trying to, or, you know, being mad at things that you can't change, like, oh, you know, your dad's not the best dad or whatever. Like, man, just accept him for who he is. Like, accept him. And like I said, it's that, then it takes that expectation of that person, like, oh, you know, as a dad you should be this. Do you know what, it would be great if most dads were like this, or it'd be great if most mums would be like this as well, you know. Not just dads out here that have caused trauma and toxicity to us, you know. A lot of it does come from our mums as well. Yes, they may not be the best parents, but accept them for who they are, and then you can move accordingly that way. But when you don't, you're always going to get into certain reactions or situations, and at the end of the day, it's only going to affect you. It's only going to make your day not good, or you're not going to make the best decisions because you're all angry or upset with things that, again, you have no control over. You cannot change. Just accept it for what it is. So
do you think that because I wanted to go on to this question, do you think that people hold themselves accountable, especially women? Do you think women hold themselves accountable?
I don't think a lot of people hold themselves accountable, but I'm starting to see a lot of places where women probably don't hold themselves accountable a lot.
And why do you think that is?
I think, again, it comes from like sort of accepting themselves, maybe shame, guilt, things like that, just not wanting to believe or accept that maybe they've done something wrong. I think it comes from a lack of acceptance, you know, accepting that we are flawed human beings. You know, we're humans, we're going to make mistakes. Doesn't justify, when I say these things, people think that means, oh, that's an excuse. No, it's not an excuse. But if we've acted a type of way, we can't go back and change that now. We can only sort of reflect on that by accepting responsibility, being accountable for that, and then, right, why did I do that? You know, what was the trigger? What was the cause of that? Was it something I'd done? Was it something someone else had done? How do I move accordingly with that person? You know, is that something that I need to be around, or is that something that I need to react or be around differently? And then you can move on from there. But once you've acted a type of way, you kind of need to accept that, you know, hold yourself accountable. But like I said, people, unfortunately, there's a lot of emotions that come about with accepting responsibility for your actions. Like I said, shame and guilt, and that kind of pushes people into a place of denial.
It's not just a river in Egypt. Yeah. So do you know what's incredible? That you've actually said that a lot of women don't hold accountability. Well, a lot of women will say that they do. But the thing is, on social media, men are held accountable for everything that they've actually done. And that's why we have words like misogynist. If a man like starts talking about women in a certain way, he's automatically described with the terminology misogynist. When in fact, he's just trying to hold women accountable for bad behavior. I saw a video the other day. I think it was yesterday. I saw a video. Yeah, listen to this video. I saw a video of a woman slapping a man. He came, sat next to her, tried to touch her phone. She slapped him, broke his glasses. Right. Now, as much as everybody was laughing, saying, "Oh my God, look at that slap! Look at that slap!"
Right, it's not right.
If the shoe was on the other foot and she was playing a joke and he done that to her, what do you think the comments would have been? He would have been cancelled. You know that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So why was it acceptable for her to do that?
Not acceptable.
Do you see where I'm going with social media now? But everybody in the comments, if you read the comments closely, they're like, "Oh, that slap though," laughing. And I was thinking, what? That looked like a hard slap. Regardless if it broke his glasses. And I was thinking, what? And I was thinking, if he would have reacted by slapping her back, the automatic reaction from everybody on social media is he's wrong for that. Yeah. Cool. But why is it right for her to do it in the first place?
It's not right for her to do it. It doesn't matter what sex you are, you know, whatever sex you claim to be, you're not meant to hurt anybody. Do you know what I mean? If you do hurt somebody, you have to be accountable for that. You have to make your apologies and things like that. I don't care what you are. You have to, around me anyway, you have to act accordingly, and I will hold you accountable if you won't. But yeah, I know unfortunately with social media and a lot of things in general, there just are double standards. You know, there's double standards to certain things, and you know, whether or not I agree with it or not, that's just the way it is. But you know, again, if I had a friend who did something like that, I wouldn't turn around and say that was hilarious. I would look at them and speak to them in a way where it's like, you need to understand that that's not acceptable. You can't go around doing that to people. You can only hope and pray that that person does have people around them to sort of highlight that to them.
There's also a video. I always talk about stuff like on social media with people, so to get their perspective. There's a video of a kid that supposedly, and I say apparently, because I'm not sure of the full story, so I'm just saying, there's a kid that was on the street and was crying, and the guy's like, "Where's your parents? Where's your mum?" And filming the child. Like, where's your mum? Where's your mum? Like, how could you just be out here? Like, where's your mum? And he's filming the child, and the child's crying at that moment. And he's looking around and say, "Oh, there's no mum," and then stop recording it. Now, I had my own take on this video. Yeah. When I see things now, I look at it from, I proper analyze things now. And my first thing was, why is he recording a child? Wouldn't it make sense if you see a child that's, first of all, tend to the child.
Tend to them. And then try and look for a solution.
And then look for a solution, as in, i.e. call the police or call someone that can actually help. Like, you might have someone in your phone book. You know what I'm saying? Why would you record the child saying, "Where's your mum? Where's your mum?" A child that's like 3 years old. What are they going to say to you? They're at home. Like, "Yeah, can you take me there? I live up the road at number 4. Can you take me there, please?" Like, what was the response that he was looking for the child? Or was that a sincere move, or was that a social media plight to say that I'm going to put this on social media? What would you get from a video like that?
I mean, it's really weird because obviously I did grow up in a time where it was before social media, and then I grew up through social media becoming a thing. And I definitely was somebody who at the beginning of my life was posting a lot of stuff on social media, and then I had like time out. But I can only go with that people these days, they this is what they think is the norm to do now. Like, I notice when I'm one of these people, I've had to become a lot more mindful at maybe recording memories or taking pictures of memories, because I'm somebody who has my phone in their handbag. Like, I don't have it out, but a lot of people, they do. Their phone is constantly in their hand. They record everything. So, I mean, I don't know if that's a thing where they're just being like, you know, I can't believe this is happening. You know, let me sort of shed a light on it, or if it, you know, unfortunately it could be maybe like a clout thing, you know, a viral thing. I know loads of people just want to do certain things so that it gets some more attention, more likes and things like that on social media. But I don't know, I don't want to judge people. That's not the thing.
It's not even judging, it's about
hoping to think that maybe they were doing it for a good reason by shedding.
All right, let's just break this down now. All right, putting children on social media that's not your children, is that correct?
No, I don't agree.
Okay, so automatically that the whole concept of what he's doing is incorrect, because if you had a child, you wouldn't like someone to be filming your child.
Of course, but at the same time, I'm trying to look at it from in the moment where maybe this isn't something that happens to him every day. He's maybe not thinking. He's probably not thinking sensibly. I'm not justifying his actions, but I'm also seeing it from a point where he's probably just so used to having it out. He's seen like an unusual circumstance and he thinks he's maybe doing something useful, but he's not actually like using his full brain, and it's like this is not a good thing like to do. Like, don't put your child on social media. But again, I'm the sort of person who's not big on putting kids on social media, but unfortunately there's a lot of people out here that do. Like, you know, there's a lot of parents that have, you know, they've set up
why do you think why are you not with putting children on social media?
I just don't agree with it as much, you know. Like, I'm funny with people putting things up on me on the internet that I haven't agreed to. You know, I think it's a right, you know, if it's on the internet, it's there forever. And I think with children, one, we don't know who's watching our children. Two, you know, they have the right to sort of have a say on things. You know, I'm different. I grew up before social media. I was a kid and there was no such thing as social media. So I never was looking at my parents sitting on the phone being like, oh, I want to do what that kid's doing in the video. I want to be on the internet like that. For me, that was looking at like music videos being like, I want to be like that. But now it's more so these phones that are in front of them. So maybe kids get to 5, 6, 7 and they're like, I want to do these sort of things. But I can only hope and pray that when it's my day that I have children, that I'm not the type of mum that's constantly showing that to them. So that's not on their forefront. I still want my children to sort of be kids and not have that life on social media as much, but I have to look at the other side of the coin when they're going to school and all the other kids are doing that. Am I being the type of person that's not letting them get in on what everyone else is doing? But then am I trying to raise a leader or a follower?
Ooh, that's the one right there. That's the one right there. Are you raising a leader or a follower?
Or a follower.
You know, if you raise a follower, then you can't be mad that when they make follower mistakes.
It's true.
Yeah, it's
exactly that. So I mean, I'd like to think that when I do have children, and I'm with the partner who, you know, who's raising the children, that we give them the right guidance to make their own decisions, and hopefully they are the sort of person where it's becoming a leader, where it's not like, you know, leader doesn't mean out here like herding the people, but they have their own mind, you know what I mean? They can see things that everyone else is doing and not agree with that if it's not the best thing to do. You know, I feel like you can look around sometimes and people will blindly just follow what other people are doing because that's what they're doing without even or even if they do sort of think maybe this isn't right, but they still do it because they look around and everyone else is doing it. And it's just like, I've done that. I've definitely been somebody who's done that, and now I'm more so, now how do I feel about this? Like, is my spirit right with doing this? Like, do you know what, maybe everyone is going that way, but I'm a go where I want to go because my spirit's telling me something different. Like, just trying to get more in tune with that than doing what everyone else is sort of doing.
It's a good way to be. Do you think that growing up that you experienced your parents being there for you in every single way possible?
No, that's not being harsh to my parents. I love my parents, but unfortunately not, no. And
how do you think that affected you growing up?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I grew up thinking my dad was my biggest cause of why I was the way I was. Like, my dad was like in and out of my life throughout my childhood, sort of thing. But as I grew
older,
I'd say about, it was only a few years ago, like literally before I started this journey of becoming a life coach, when I was literally in amidst of my huge breakthrough myself on my own self-discovery journey. I realised that it was actually my relationship with my mum that probably caused me the most sort of damage to my esteem, my confidence, just her emotional states. I didn't realise that actually I was quite a people pleaser because I was very good at just trying to make sure my mum was good and calm with me, even though I wasn't even the cause of why she was emotionally up.
What was the cause?
Probably my dad, bills, life, things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever. Oh, in fact, her previous traumas, you know, I was taking on that as a kid because. You see what? Remember what I said? Do you remember what I said to you earlier? I said that parents pass down trauma to their children. They do.
I got it done to me, and I'm not hateful for it. I don't hate.
They didn't know any better.
I don't hate my pops for the things that he done to me. If, as a matter of fact, it kind of built me and my character as a person, and it made me a better person, because you can see something's done something to someone. So you shouldn't let that now make you a certain way towards your children.
Exactly.
Does it make sense? It's like, for me personally, it was identifying that he actually went through his own stuff, which made him a certain way. And he was trying to pass it on to me. And to a certain extent, for a few years, maybe I was going through my own stuff and I didn't realize why it was like the way it was. But then when I obviously come to the realization to myself that, this is mad. Like, why am I like this? And then you start to look at yourself in the mirror, because, you know, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life is look in the mirror and say, I'm the problem. Yeah. Forget everyone else. I'm the problem. And you know what? I need to change this. Yeah. He done whatever he done, but you see me now, I'm perpetuating this nature on everyone else. I need to change. And from the moment I done that was the moment that I became a better person inside of myself. Amazing. Because I stopped blaming the world and I started blaming myself. And when you start to do that, the only thing that can happen from there is growth.
It's true.
Only thing from there is growth. You can't go low. You can't, because you've identified problems. So now you have to be a problem solver. And that's one thing I've got from this conversation with you, is that from the sounds of it, it sounds like you're more of a problem solver than a problem maker. That you want to solve problems. You don't want to just sit there with them. You want to actually find, all right, how do I get, you see me, I'm the person, I'm in a situation, someone's like, they're telling me the whole bad situation. I'm like, just get to the end. How do we fix it? Like, how do we forget all of that. How do we get past it? All right, so what we got to do, I'm like, you just said that from the start, because all I want to know is how we fix it. I don't want to know that if I'm at work and there's an issue happening on the system and I'm like, how do I do this? He's like, do this. Before he's even finished the sentence, I'm on the solution, because I'm a problem solver. That's my whole thing is problem solving. For instance, I'll give you an example. When I first started podcast, I bought a cheap mic.
Okay.
I was listening to the mic and I was like, it sounds good, doesn't sound that great. All right. Went online, listened to other people's podcasts. I'm like, why is theirs sound like that and mine sound like this? So I looked at the mics they were using. I said, oh, Rode. All right, let me go online and see. Oh, it's a lot of money. Bloody hell. These mics are kind of expensive. You know what? Let me invest in it, because here why? I wanted that problem of that audio, because there was a problem. If I'm identifying that my audio doesn't sound good, then that's a problem. I need to fix that problem. Instead of sitting there saying, oh, I need everyone to give me money, or you know what? I'm just going to keep using it and try and turn up the volume. No, let me just fix the problem. And I feel like if you have that mindset through your life, just fixing problems, you're always going to come out on the other side of any problem you go through as a winner. As a winner, even if even if you have to cut certain people off to actually make that problem win, or not cut people off, because if family members, you have to reduce contact.
Definitely
reduce
put
contact. Put some big space, yeah, and it's healthy boundaries. You know what I'm saying? So that they can't have that kind of control. Does that make sense? As soon as I see you acting that same way, all right, I'm gone. I'm gone. No problem. Have a nice day. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm not going to be rude. I'm going to be the bigger person and keep it moving. And I'm not going to let you affect anything else that's going on with me. Because a lot of times our family issues affect our relationships.
Oh, 100%.
We're all over the place with our relationship, and it's because of this person, what he's doing. So I've learned now, as soon as I feel that toxicity just sinking in a little bit,
I'm like, you know what?
Have a nice day. I'm gonna go. I'm gone before people even think. They're like, where are you? Yeah, I'm gone. I've been gone.
That's true.
I'm in my own world now. I'm back to doing me. I'm not gonna accept certain people's bad behaviors on me anymore. You know, when you're younger and you're in a situation where you can't really move and you're kind of feeble and you're just a child and you can't really fend for yourself. As you grow older and you can take care of yourself, you realize that you have a lot of control over your fate to a certain extent.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So you can remove yourself from situations that you don't want to be in. So yeah, that was a very good point.
That's very true. I just wanted to just quickly say, because you said something as well about going back, and I wanted to elaborate. When I went counselling, I went because of like my relationship with my mum, and it was like we unpacked all the stuff that had happened, and each week we just kept talking about it, and I was like, okay, it feels good to like acknowledge how she is and complain about her, but we ain't. So what do I do now? Like, what do I do now? It's like, I'm in this mess. Like, I'm in this, like, okay, like, she did this and I've understood that, wow, like, she is the cause of maybe a lot of how I've reacted to certain things. I've taken on her behaviour. I took on a lot of her behaviour. Looking at how I love my mum's pieces, but there's certain things I did not want to continue to, grow up and be. So yeah, I'm now I come back to her and I've been like, so what do we do now? And it was just, she just wanted to keep going around in circles and that. And I was like, you know what? This is making me anxious as hell. Like, this is making me, bringing up stuff, but we're not moving forward. So I realized then I needed something more that was like, okay, yes, it's good to go back to get what we need. We need to find out the information, identify the root causes, but how do we move forward with that? How do I now take that forward and put a spin on it where I'm not going to now keep, like you said, perpetuating that same behaviour, Growing up, seeing how my mum was in relationships, I didn't realise that I then got into a 4.5-year relationship where I was pretty much reenacting that same thing. I can't do that. I can't do that now. Do you know what I mean? I've got this information. How do I move past that? And I needed that extra guidance to help me, again, shine the light on how I can now move differently and literally that's what I do to help with women. I help women understand why they've done certain things they've done, the causes of it, and then how they can move forward.
Why is the focus only on women when it could be a man that says he wants to be coached? Why can't it be a man as well?
So I have a few reasons why I don't want to help men, and it's nothing bad. One, I'm a woman. I feel like I can relate mostly to a woman's experience on this earth more than I can do a man's. You know, you guys see the world through completely different lenses to I do. Two, there's some great male coaches out there that can really help. I think men need to be able to help men a lot more as well. They need to have that community spirit of helping other men grow. And three, I don't want to blur lines, you know, in a sense of...
Blur lines, okay.
Not from my perspective, but sometimes when people may think that you're helping them, they may see it in a different way. They may see you in a different light. And I don't want there to ever be that sort of, that awkwardness of maybe different feelings coming about. You know, this is my profession. I want to keep things 100% professional. I don't want to have awkward conversations with people who might want to see me in a different light because I've helped them through certain things.
Also, so you're saying that a lot of men might interpret your helping them as liking them, and then emotional.
Potentially, I just don't want to put that out there. You know, again, I'm going to be potentially, I will be one day having a husband and things like that. It's going to be quite intimate. You know, it's quite an intimate thing, coaching and being a therapy of to people. And for me, I feel like I work better helping women who've been through similar circumstances to me. I know a lot of mixed race women out there who grew up maybe not liking their hair, not liking certain things about them, have gone on to make, you know, terrible decisions based on that. Let me help them. I got coached and grew my, got to my certification by, you know, help the corinas of the world. I don't think there's many men who are the corinas of the world, and you know, I wouldn't expect them to be.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And you said it in a very eloquent way, very eloquent. Yeah. Do you think that life coaching is something that's not mentioned a lot? Because I don't really see a lot of people doing life coaching nowadays. Why do you think people are not picking it up doing life coaching?
I don't think it's a field where it's like it's seen as like a therapist, you know. It's kind of like it's not accredited. You don't have to have certification to be able to do it. People probably don't take it seriously. I don't think there's a lot of information about what life coaches do. And, you know, I think if you spoke to me about a life coach maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I would have probably laughed in your face. Like, what does a life coach know? What, you know, sort of thing. It's just, I feel like you go to a life coach when you come to a realization that you, like you said, you want to make changes. A life coach isn't somebody who's going to hear your problems and be that shoulder to cry on. And, you know, like you said, okay, you've given me all this information. I'm a little bit more emotional with it. Do you know what I mean? I have to relate to emotions and things like that. I understand that emotions play a part in it. But what we're going to do moving forwards, how you've come to me and told me that this is what you want. And the big thing that I help the women that I coach with is envision where they want to be. Where do you want to be? When you can feel, see, and almost taste that, we're not going to now look at that gap as a bad thing. Like, we're going to say, right, well, here we are. Here's where you are in life. How can we make that happen? How can we bridge that gap to where you want to be? What is stopping you from bridging that gap? Because there's always a stop. And, you know, most of the time it's our belief system. It's what we think about ourselves. It's what we think about the world. It's what we think about other people. When we stop looking at people from a bad lens, you know, like, you know, all men are trash or all women are selfish and don't want to work, and, you know, stop looking at everyone as that. Understand that some people act and behave in certain ways. It's not our place to save them. It's not our place to judge them. Just make sure you have what you want in mind, because when you do, you will eventually find that person who matches and who's in line with who you are, your values and things like that. And that's why I don't pay no mind to people who don't match my criteria of what I'm looking for in a person. Not
what
just
is it that you're looking for
in a husband? I'm looking for people who have similar values to me. That's in friendship, relationship. That's not just my partner, but someone who shares the same values as me, somebody who's looking to continuously grow, who understands that they've come from a past that maybe hasn't been the best, but that's not holding them back. They're using that as their fuel to make them become a better person. And literally that, somebody who's dedicating their life to become a better person so they can not only help themselves, help the people around them, and, you know, eventually one day raise a family to be as best as they can be. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to raise perfect kids, because again,
all right, let me get to this. Who's had the most positive impact on your life?
The most positive impact on my life? Wow. I'd say it's probably one of my closest mates, Kaz. Oh yeah, I'm going to do a shout out to you, Kaz.
Shout out to Kaz.
Shout out to you, Kaz.
Shout out to Kaz. I don't know who you are, Kaz, but yeah, it's bare love over there.
No, there is. She was the first friend I made when I moved down to Bournemouth. She was a black girl, and she told me that, we are not many of us. We've got to stick together, sort of thing. And we were very similar, but we had very different outlooks on life. And I think we were both going through our own trauma. So she was, she had emigrated from Zimbabwe, I think at the age of 9. So she was carrying a lot of trauma from that. And I was carrying my trauma from whatever I grew up with. And we clashed a lot as sort of kids. And it got to a point when we were maybe about, say, 21, 22, where our friendship just sort of like, just didn't speak to each other. We had some things happen, we just didn't speak to each other. And she reached out to me about, I think now 2 years ago now, and I'm so grateful she did, because we were both in places where we were able to acknowledge where we'd messed up in our friendship. We understood each other's, it was like, we're not even angry at that, because we understood that we're both going for our own things. And from that now, we have one of the best relationships, and she's such an inspiration to me, like in a sense of like what she does career wise, what she does like business wise, like everything like that. She's such an inspiration to, if I didn't get back in contact with her, I probably wouldn't be a life coach right now. That's just me being 100.
Kaz.
So yeah, I've got to give her the credit.
Yeah, shout out to you. That's amazing, man. That's incredible. Also, another question I wanted to ask you was, do you see in a relationship, what is it that you look, what do you look for? I'm asking you specifically. We're going, this is a specific question.
I don't like to talk about this.
Well, we're going to get into it. We have to.
I don't like to talk about it.
We have to get into it. Let's get into it. What is it that you look for the most in a relationship? Like I said, shared values. That's our values in line. That's a very open-ended answer, meaning that that could mean millions of things. It could. But yeah, if we have those shared values, then we're going to both provide we're going to both be providing what we need to the relationship. So for instance, I'll give you my first value, love. Love, and people think love is certain things. Love for me is selfless. Love is kind. Love is putting the other person's feelings at the forefront. And that doesn't mean that you're out here not giving to yourself, doing everything for that other person. No, love is, it's being there for that person. It's doing things out of love. It's doing things because you know that this is going to help the relationship. It's going to help each other grow. That's going to put something, just doing little things that is going to put a smile on that other person's face. It doesn't even need to be like these big things, but like if she likes the bed to be done a certain way, and she likes, certain chocolate, and you've maybe made the bed for her and you put the chocolate on the bed like that, you've done things because that's going to put a smile on their face. Or he's had a stressful day and his favorite meal is this, and I'm going to cook up his favorite meal because he's had a stressful day. Like things that are just done because you want to help people, you want to help that person. Love is definitely my number one value, and that's not just in relationships, that's in everything. If you're doing things out of love, then I think that's the best thing that you can do things. So I feel like if we share, those are my main values, my core values, or your core values complement mine, then
then we're gonna have a great relationship for as long as our relationship.
Do you think people place more? And this is a question I asked you already, but I'll ask you again. Do you think people place more emphasis on relationships than actual marriage?
I don't think you've asked me this question, but could you elaborate?
So, for instance, I'll give you an example. Everyone's talking about dating, getting into relationships, how to be the best person in a relationship. How are we not using that same energy for marriage?
Depends what you want.
Depends. So, do you think conversations nowadays are more, and the way that people are now is that there's not a value placed on marriage?
No, it depends. It depends on the people. So, I know people who have always placed a value on marriage, and that's very important to them. I know people that have always dated in ways where they're going to be finding their partner for marriage, and then I know people who don't believe in marriage. They don't believe that they should have to sign a piece of paper because of multiple different reasons. So I can't put that out there in a general sense, because I believe there are people out here that they want marriage. I think it's more so there's people out here that say they want marriage, but they don't understand what marriage is. They don't understand what it takes for marriage. And I'll give an example of that in a different thing. I was having this conversation with a few other coaches the other day. People want a lot of things, but they don't understand the responsibility of having that. They don't understand the responsibility of maintaining that. And I'll just take it for even the simplest thing as a car. And I can use that as an example for myself. I couldn't wait to start driving. I could not wait to get a car. I'm done with buses, done with trains, done with walking in the rain, whatever. I need a car. I got like a cheap car, whatever, but I didn't realize the maintenance that goes on that car. That I need to also like buy tires every time a nail goes in it. Like insurance. I knew about insurance, but I'm just talking about like if your head gasket goes, or do you know what I mean? Certain things, and you have to constantly put petrol in it. I didn't know how long my petrol was going to last, and you're darting around all this and that. You know, that's ongoing maintenance that I didn't realize, or maybe want to have to budget for in what my lifestyle was. And I think people don't take that into consideration with a lot of things. Like, you know, I want to be able to be a millionaire. Okay, say you go out tomorrow, or you know, for the next year you bust it and you make yourself £1 million. How are you going to maintain that millions? Do you know what it takes to be able to actually maintain yourself being a millionaire? Or are you going to be a millionaire for a month and then your lifestyle, your outgoings now makes you not a millionaire anymore? It's understanding what is it that goes into a marriage. What does it take to be somebody of a marriage? And I think that's what people need to sort of understand before they sort of say they want marriage and go for that, if you know what I mean.
I think that the importance of marriage has been brushed to the side with the new generation, because it's not something that is spoken about, because a lot of the youngsters not even looking for marriage, if I'm honest with you. Unless it's for like religious reasons. Some people, they have religions that they follow that they can't really be in a relationship. They have to just get married. It's either one or the other. And there's some people that, you know, family values, their family's not accepting other than marriage. But then you have let's say 6 out of 7 out of 10 people that are in relationships, but they don't know where the relationship is going. So they're thinking of buying a house. They're thinking of doing all these things with their partner, but they're not realizing that a marriage is more than just a piece of paper. Let me just tell you something. Someone said this to me, and I had to just close down this whole debate about a marriage is just a piece of paper. It's not just a piece of paper. Let me tell you something. When you need to drive, you need to have a what? Driving license. If you don't have that piece of paper, can you drive on the road? Maybe, but guess what? You might get pulled over. So what I'm saying to you is there's some papers. I might have a degree. Now, me and you both go for a job. You haven't got a degree. I've got a degree. To you, it's just a piece of paper. But this piece of paper is getting me that job for 60 grand a year. You're not going to get it. You're going to be my assistant for 30 grand. So what I'm saying is, I'm not always saying the paperwork's always good, but I'm just saying in general that sometimes we it's just a piece of paper, but it's not just a piece of paper. It's actually a contract. That's a business contract right there you're getting into. People don't realize this. Marriage is a business contract. Do you actually understand that? You're prepared to go into a business contract with someone. That's what you're actually doing.
I don't want to see it as a business contract at all, but I get it. It does tie obviously your finances and things like that.
Of course it does.
I'm not saying it's not. I've never been that sort of thing, but for me, I take it more than finance. I was having a conversation with a guy I was on a date with the other day, and I said, oh yeah, I value marriage, and he was like, oh no, I take it or leave it, but yeah, I'm big on having kids. And I was a bit like,
do you know how dumb that sounds?
So I was just like, so you were willing to go halves on a whole life with me, but you don't want to marry? And you know his reasons, because obviously he's got finances, you know, you might take half of everything. I said, but you'd rather go half on a child with me than give me half of your assets. Like, I'm not saying that I'd want half of your assets, but to me it just sounds crazy. Like, surely if you're with somebody that you want to have a baby with, like I said, it's you love and care for this person, like this person that you can't imagine being without that person. Like that's the person for you that's gonna make your journey even better. You two together, you're good alone, but when you're together, you're a force. You make each other better. You make everything better. Of course, sometimes not everything lasts forever. I'd like to hope that when I do get married, that it's going to last forever. But I understand.
But do you know what's crazy about what he said? Do you know what's actually crazy?
What?
He's ready to have a baby with a woman that's not his wife. That is actually more crazy than it's having a baby. Because let me tell you what, if you was married and you had a child, that makes sense.
Of course.
It makes sense. Logically, it makes sense. Like, forget her taking half the assets. If you're married to her and you have a child, she takes all the assets. She's got your child anyway.
Exactly.
So it doesn't make sense.
Isn't your child more valuable than assets? Anything that you make on the planet.
But you know what? That shows me where man's head at.
And do you know what I mean? It's commitment. And
I'm not even sound like a hater. I'm not even sound like a hater.
But marriage is for me, marriage is commitment. And for me, it's like, if you can't commit to me, why would you want me to have
your child?
Like, how?
Because you're still gonna.
It's not even about me when it comes to the child. I'm like, how can I say to my child that this person is a committed person if he couldn't even make that commitment to me? At least if I get married, I do everything right, I try, you know, as best as I can do, and it still goes left, I can at least look at my child and say, look, I tried. Like, you know, I showed me some commitment. You showed me big commitment. You showed me all of this, and
it never worked. Yes.
I'm sorry, you know, we're raising you as best as we can, but at least from my standpoint, I've done the best.
So what did you just want, like, baby mother? Anyway, I don't want to get into that. But
no, look, again, I don't get mad at these people for saying it. I just rather, like, for me, I'm glad they show me who it is, but I will question. Of course, I play devil's advocate with him. I was like, right, okay, it makes sense. So yeah.
Because you know what, if a man, I believe any man that goes into a relationship talking about, I don't want to get married because I don't want to take it half. Yeah. It just shows me your mind is placed on material more than the spiritual. And what I mean by that is the love aspect of everything. You know, I was saying this to someone the other day. Yeah, you see Dr. Dre's wife. Yeah, his wife's left him, but she wanted this much money. I said she deserves every penny. Don't even look at the money she deserves. Bro, if a woman puts up with some man, let me tell you something. Some of my friends out there, I don't even know how you're in relationships. I don't know how the woman stands you up. But she is the best woman in the world. I said to my friend the other day, I said to him, bro, he said, oh, this woman, I'm going to leave her. I said, bro, she's the best woman ever. He's like, how do you know? I said, bro, she puts up with you.
I'm putting this up on my socials. This, what he's just said here, I've never heard it, so...
That is, if she can put up with him, I'm telling you, she's the best woman ever. Marry her, have kids, and never leave her. Because, brother, I'm telling you, sometimes being around you, it drains, bro. It drains. So I don't know how she does this on a 24-hour basis. I don't know how she does it. So, bro, marry her. She's a good woman. I don't care what you say about what she's a bad side. She's a good woman because she stayed with you all these years, bro. She stayed with you, brother. Trust me, I know.
I see it as like, do you know what I mean? Like, a woman should add to you. Each person should add to each other. Do you know what I mean? But I think, like, you know, people look down on, oh, you know, you're a stay at home. I don't have kids. My sister's I've got a nephew. Boy, he is turning 3 next month, and it's just like,
yeah, it's crazy. Boys got better energy. They're running up and down doing the most.
The energy is the maddest, and it's like I was like to myself, I'd rather just go back to work. My work's a mad. Do you know what? Work seems easy because you know what? Yes, it may be a stressful job, but it's 8 hours. I log off, and do you know what? I do get my weekends. Do you know what I mean? But that's a full-time thing. Like, he wakes up in the night. You got to put him back to bed. He wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That is a crazy job. I'm not saying I want to have children, but I'm realizing, like, yo, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't think I'm that ready yet, because that is a lot of commitment. So, you know, if you are out working and creating the the funds to raise the family, and she's at home with not one but multiple. So imagine you've got a 5, a 3, one that's probably still being breastfed. She's got to cook, clean, get your stuff ready for your next day. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's doing all that, and then she comes home, and then she, she attends to your needs because you're a man and you have needs. Why is it your money?
No,
Surely
it's not your money. It's not your money. It's not your money.
She's playing her role, and I get it if she's one of these women that don't do nothing.
Doesn't matter.
A nanny, or what I mean. Doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, we don't live in, and that's some society, that's some world that none of us that I know live in. The women that I know, the people that we know. It's them too. They have a very involved life. So I just don't see it that way.
25 years of marriage to a man, yeah. And
you haven't worked. You haven't got 25 years of experience.
She's helped him in ways that no one can imagine. So if she takes some money is not even the momentary value here. It's the fact that they've been together for so many years. That money that she gets, you think she actually cares about it? Because she was already living a good life, because you already had it. So it's not, the money you're giving is just to maintain the lifestyle that we've created. Together. Just remember that. So that money means nothing. When they said, oh, Jeff Bezos is losing his wife and she's taking this much money, this much billions, I'm like, bro, she's entitled to it.
And even so, surely, how much money do you need? Really and truly, do you know what I mean? I'm just, surely, I don't know.
My friend said this to me.
You can't take it
to the grave. Come on. That's it. And that's the right mindset to actually have. And I think that if more people had that mindset, then we'd have a better society. But definitely. I was looking at some video about poverty in Yemen, yeah, and I said there shouldn't be billionaires in the world if there's that much poverty. And for that country to actually come, the economic crisis that country's in, I saw some mad videos. And you know me, I'm a weirdo. I'll see a woman with a child saying, oh, my child ain't got food. I'll be like, why do you even have the child? And someone said, bruv, they even got contraception out there. Like, what do you want her to not be able to do? And I was thinking, right, it's kind of crazy though, because in the UK, people are scared to have children because they say, I'm not going to have enough money. But you say you're not going to have enough money, but you know, in hindsight, your child can't actually go starving in the UK, really. In hindsight, let's keep it real. In the UK, the social services take your youth and just give it to someone who wants a youth. But in a poor country where it's poverty driven, that child's starving. Does it make sense? That child's actually starving. So I was thinking, it made me realize that even in the UK, like I said, a lot of people were very ungrateful. And I'm going to keep going back to this grateful and gratitude point, because it's a very key point that we have to make. We're living very good in this country, very secure, even though not everything's super, super duper, it's things that are happening. But I'm saying it's very secure in the UK compared to other countries where it's just, some people are eating, they're eating out of option. Some people are eating to stop starvation.
It's so true.
There's a difference, there's a big difference in world and life, and I think we need to start paying attention to that and being more grateful for that, and that will make us better people, I think, generally.
100%.
So yeah, plug the people in with your social media, tell everyone what you're doing, please.
So yeah, you can find me on all social media platforms under Your Coach Corina, and like I said, I'm a life coach for women. If you have any sort of queries, you want to know more about my story, hit me up. If you do follow me on Instagram, there is a link in my bio if you want to schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me. I look forward to hearing from you.
Come on. So yeah, man, thank you for coming down. I appreciate it. We're definitely gonna get you back down for another show, because there's more stuff that we have to discuss, and I think